Facebook as well. So we have people watching here in Zoom today and people watching on Facebook. I'm Melissa, your host, and we're here with Ana Paula Biazon Rocha. Ana, did I pronounce your name correctly?
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Great, thanks. I've been practicing. We're talking about pronunciation, so these things definitely are important. So Ana, you're from Brazil, from Sao Paulo, is that right?
Yes.
But where are you joining us from today?
Yeah, I'm from São Paulo, Brazil, but I live in Sheffield in the UK.
Okay, so to tell everyone a bit about Ana, she is a teacher development coordinator, and she's the assistant director of studies at the English Language Teaching Centre in the University of Sheffield in the UK. And she's here today because she's a specialist in English language phonology and pronunciation pedagogy. She's a committee member and a blogger for IATEFL Pron Sig, so the pronunciation special interest group from IATEFL. So you can read lots of her articles, her blog posts about pronunciation online if you're interested. Thanks for coming, Ana. How are you
Melissa?
today?
I'm good, thanks.
So we're really excited for this presentation. I'll be here to help you with anything you need.
Wonderful.
And I'll be here at the end. We can answer questions from the audience. But I'll leave you now, and you can start sharing your screen when you're ready.
All right. Thank you so much, Melissa.
Thanks.
Hi, everyone. So I'm just going to share my presentation. Melissa, is that okay? Can everybody see it?
Yeah, looks good.
Yeah, okay. So thank you very much, everyone, for being here today. Thanks also to everyone who filled in the pre-webinar task. It was very interesting, very important to hear what you had to say. So thank you very much for that. And if this is your third webinar today, your third session, well done. Give yourself a pat in the back because, well, but off we go, okay? So let's start by checking how this presentation is divided. As you can see, we have 6 parts, but we're going to focus mainly on 3 parts, okay? What is pronunciation? Teacher struggles with pronunciation teaching, and obviously the most important one and the fun one, which is practical tips, okay? So let's get started then with the first part of our presentation. What is pronunciation? So let's go back to the basics and think about that, okay? So here you have 3 different elements: meaning, face, and glue. How do you think these 3 different things can help us explain what pronunciation is? So if you have any suggestions, I would love to hear them in the chat box. If you are watching us on Facebook, have a think, meaning, face, and glue. Any ideas? Someone is saying meaning. Look up the meaning in a book in a dictionary. What the word, Tatiana is saying what the word means. Okay, pronunciation can change meaning. Glue is like linking sounds. That's a great idea. All right, everyone, keep popping your comments in the chat box, and let's find out what these things have in common, okay? How they can help us explain what pronunciation is. So starting by The first definition, as you can see, from Yates and Zielinski, sorry, we have that pronunciation refers to how we produce the sounds that we use to make meaning when we speak, okay? Because this is it, without meaning, we cannot communicate, right? The second definition comes from Levis and McLaughlin, and it's probably my favorite definition of what pronunciation is. Pronunciation is the most public face of language. So you open your mouth, you say something, pronunciation, okay? And finally, we are going to have the final pronunciation definition, which is amazing as well. And it was given by Robin Walker and by our one and only Gemma Archer, who was presenting our first session today. Pronunciation is not an optional extra that we add on if we have time. It is the very glue that holds the systems of the English language together. Okay, so I hope by thinking about these three wonderful definitions of what pronunciation is, we can kind of reflect and we can kind of visualize why it is important to talk about pronunciation. Okay? So let's move on now to our second part, okay? If you have questions or anything, add them to the chat box. Let's move on then to talk about teachers' struggles with pronunciation teaching. So as we've been discussing today, you know, in all our sessions, although research has shown that most learners enjoy working on pronunciation, and although research has also proved that explicit pronunciation teaching does affect and does help students improve their oral skills. So it's not just us, you know, banging on the idea, pronunciation. Research has shown that, okay? Many teachers still struggle with pronunciation teaching. And here's a list of common struggles that we have as teachers, okay? So have a look, see if you identify yourself with any of the things listed. Yes, all men, yes. We are going to talk about practical tips in a moment, but it's also very important to reflect and think a little bit on theory. I know it's very important to kind of have this gap, bridge this gap, okay? Theory and practice, and that's what hopefully we're trying to do here today. Probably one of the most important struggles, I don't know if you agree with me, so I'd love to hear from you in the chat box and in our Facebook page as well. Lack of confidence, right? We teachers, or many teachers, we don't have confidence ourselves in our pronunciation when we are speaking English. And then if I am not confident, how am I going to teach pronunciation to my students, sorry. And I've been there, I'm still there many times. And I just want to say that if you feel like that, if you have ever felt like that, you're not alone, okay? We are here and together we can hopefully overcome that, okay? Don't feel like a stranger. It is a very important thing, okay? So basically, and another thing that I want to talk about before I move on is a lot of teachers believe that pronunciation is learned incidentally, right? I don't need to talk about pronunciation in my lessons. Students will get it. Let me just give you an example. Would you refrain from teaching the present perfect tense? Would you say like, you know what? I'm not gonna teach present perfect. Students will get it. Probably not, right? So why do we refrain from teaching pronunciation? Pronunciation, as we saw in Chris' session, Gemma's session, is a part of language. Remember, John Levis is the most public face of language. So why do we skip pronunciation, but we teach everything else? Okay, and obviously, students need instruction, okay? They need to be taught how to recognize pronunciation, okay? So basically, we can summarize as this. Teachers need help. Yes, we need support on how to teach pronunciation. We have comments in the chat box saying, please, practical tips, please help us, okay? So that's why we are here today. And that's what we are going to do right now, okay? Are you ready? Here we go. So let's start with our practical tips. Starting by the first one, we are going to review now how to teach word stress using your hands and using realia, okay? So let's go part by part. Let's start with the hands. And actually, sorry, let's start with word stress. Let's come back. If you asked me, Ana, if you were about to start teaching pronunciation, or if you're going to plan a course, what would be one of the first things that you would teach in terms of pronunciation? I would teach word stress, okay? Enough with the sounds. We have practiced the sounds. We need to focus on word stress. We need to focus on intonation. We need to focus on linking sounds, because these features affect directly communication, right? Obviously, sounds are very important, and we are going to work with sounds today as well. But I would start with word stress. Why? Because English pronunciation is based on stressed and unstressed sounds, okay? So, and this is important because they affect meaning. So let me give you an example. I say, guys, I'm sorry, but you know, my computer is not working today. Melissa, I'm having so many problems. Oh my God, my computer is not working today. You know, I tried to, check the computer first, but, and then Melissa and everybody else, you guys on Facebook would go like, what? What is she talking about? Ah, my computer is not working today. So this is a crucial element in English pronunciation, okay? And we need to teach students that. They will not get it incidentally. We need to show them. So a stressed syllable in English, let's review. A stressed syllable has a full vowel sound, right? What does that mean, Ana? So I don't say competitor, competitor. Competitor. I say computer, right? In my accent. Why? Because it's you is the full vowel sound, right? A stressed syllable is longer, is louder, and it's higher, okay? So this is what we as teachers should first understand ourselves, okay? And then teach students. And how can we do that? We can do that using our hands, okay? So the idea would be something like computer. We open our hands in the stress syllable, okay? Computer. But then you say, oh, Yana, I don't like it. I don't think this is good. Okay, let's try another way. So we are going to do computer. Computer. So we are showing students the physicality of pronunciation, Your body can feel the stress syllable, okay? So it would make much more sense. Yes? But you are like, Anna, I'm not sure. So let's practice, everybody, okay? So we have a list of 5 words. Take a look at them. And I'm going to stop sharing now, okay, my slide. And I want everybody on Zoom and everybody on Facebook. Melissa, is that okay? Can you see me?
Yeah, we can.
Wonderful. Okay, good. So first, let's warm up our hands, okay? Yeah, everybody. I wish I could see you. As I can't see you, don't be shy. Let's have some fun. Are you ready? So, hands ready. So we are going to start with delivery. Delivery. I hope you are doing that at home. Let's go. Delivery. Delivery. Second word now. English. English. Reply. Reply. Pronunciation. Pronunciation. Collection. Collection. So we are showing, we can feel it's louder, it's longer, it's higher. Here, I can feel it, okay? If you don't like it, say, didn't like it. Let's try the other way. Are you ready? Is everybody ready? So here we go. Let's start with delivery. Delivery. Now let's start with English. 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 Now let's go to reply. 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 The next one is pronunciation. Pronunciation. And the last word was collection. Collection. Okay? Well done, everybody. So I hope you could feel the stress syllables. So this is a way, there's no, do you see? It's not like high tech. It's not AI. No. It's your hands, okay? And you can do that with children, teenagers, and adults, right? Let's move on now to our next practice, which is with realia, okay? So realia are usually these objects that we use to teach English in our lessons, okay? So a very easy one are the hair bubbles or the scrunchies, okay? If you don't have, like me, like a crazy person, crazy pronunciation teacher who has a million bubbles, you can also use rubber bands, okay? And basically what you're going to do is the same idea. Remember? Computer. We're going to use the same logic to practice the word stress, okay? So I'll give you now 30 seconds. Go find a hair bubble or a rubber band or anything that could work like that, okay? We are going to use the same words that we were practicing. And again, I'm going to stop sharing. Okay, are you ready? And if you don't have a hair bubble or a rubber band right now, I think you got the idea, right? So, okay, fingers. Is everybody ready? So take your hair bubble now, your rubber band, and we will start with delivery. Delivery. Okay? Second one, let's start with English. English. Then we go to reply. Reply. Then we go to pronunciation. Pronunciation. And then collection. Collection. So here again, we can see when we stretch the rubber bands or the bubbles, longer, louder, higher sound. You see, this is the stress. This is unstressed. This is stressed. Is that okay? Well done, everybody, again. Good. So I can see some comments in the chat box. People seem to be very excited. Again, very easy to do. You don't need high tech, right? And it's a great way to practice. And a lot of people are mentioning children. Obviously, with children, that's amazing. But can I be honest? Adults go wild with the bubbles, you know, so it works for everybody. Yeah, somebody saying both fun for students and teachers. Yes, definitely. Wonderful. So that was the very first practical tip. Okay. Are we ready for our second tip? Sorry. And before we move on, sorry, I just want to say, okay, how do we do that? I mean, okay, we have the idea, but how do we integrate that into our lessons? Every time you introduce new language, you should work with word stress, right? Then you can have this practice like we were doing here, but also you as a teacher, you should encourage students to mark word stress in their notes, in their materials. And you as a teacher on the board, if it's a face-to-face lesson on the board, if it's an online lesson, the online board, the chat box, every time you introduce new language, you need to mark the stress. And you can do that in different ways. For example, I usually do the first example you see in environment. Environment. So I usually use a full circle, okay, above the stress syllable. Other teachers, they prefer to underline the stress syllable, okay? Other teachers prefer to use capital letters. It doesn't matter what works for you, what you like, what you prefer, but you have to be consistent, okay? So if you're going to do underlining, stick to underlining, okay? If you're going to use capital letters, stick to capital letters, okay? Don't change it because students don't know. So this week we are using capital letters. Next week we are going to use, we are going to underline. Students need consistency, okay? So, and you are a model. So if students can see on your board the underline sound or the full circle or something, they will get it. Okay, stress syllable. Okay, so don't forget that you are a model to your students, okay? Milena is saying, I draw a letter, okay, and put the stress syllable on the higher step. Wonderful, wonderful, Milena. Thank you very much for sharing this. Yes, very good. All right, moving on now to our second tip. Exaggerate the articulation of sounds. So we know, as we were saying, pronunciation is the most public face of language. And Chris was talking about this in his webinar before, in his session before. Sometimes, you know, we are drilling, we are working with pronunciation, but students can't actually visualize what happens here, okay? Because the teacher goes like environment, environment, or I don't know, okay? We need to exaggerate a little bit so that students can visualize, because again, you are the model. Yes. And why? Why is that? Learners need to visualize the articulation of sounds to help the brain process it, especially if it's a new sound that does not exist in their L1. So for example, I have a Thai student, and for her, it's very difficult to pronounce the v, right? So always when I'm teaching and helping her, I'm always like, v, okay, because I need to show her how to articulate the sound so her brain can process and try to produce it, okay? So that is the idea. Don't be shy. And if you're teaching online, let's be honest, it's easier, right? You just look at the camera and you do it. If you're teaching face-to-face, sometimes some teachers feel a little bit shy, feel a little bit exposed, but don't worry, let's have fun, okay? So that's what we're going to do now, okay? So here we have a list of sounds and a list of words that we are going to practice, okay? And I'm going to stop sharing again, right? Because I'm going to be the model, right? I'm saying we teachers are the model. Okay, so let's start with the first sound, okay? So first of all, let's prepare here. Are you ready? Yeah? Good. Now, the first sound. Take your apple. This is your imaginary apple. Okay? Now I want you to bite the apple. Can you do that for me? Now, can you go? Ah, ah, ah. Apple, apple, ah, okay? This is how it sounds in my accent, okay? Second sound, we are going to take the tip of our tongue to the roof of our mouth, okay? Behind the teeth. Can we do a and now can we say light, light, altar, altar, basketball, basketball. Okay, this is for Asian speakers. Yes, Japanese, Chinese, Vietnamese speakers, the Korean, right? Is a struggle. Fair enough, they don't have the sound in their language. So, okay. Next one. So we had an apple. We had our tongue on the roof of our mouth. For the next one, guys, I want you to give me a beautiful smile. Can we smile, everybody? Smile. And can we do a E? E. Now, can we say sleep? Sleep. Good. And finally, let's practice the last sound. Or cheese. Yes, Sunita, thank you. Cheese has the same effect. And the next one, I want you to close your lips, okay? Can you do a for me? Come on, don't be shy. So here we go. Museum. Museum. Can we do comfortable? Comfortable. Okay? So in this way, when we exaggerate a little bit, we show students how the sound is articulated, okay? So yes, Patricia, it's a classic for Brazilian speakers, right? Museum, right? So don't be shy and remember, you need to show the articulation, okay? What if I just did? Okay, repeat after me. Museum. 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 Show them, okay? Thank you. Alamena is saying mesmerize. Oh, this is a wonderful example. Thank you for your example. Mesmerize, yes, mesmerize. All right. So how is everybody doing? Is this okay? Does it make sense? Yeah. Moment. Thank you. Yeah. Guys, you have better examples that I got here. Thank you. I'm going to steal these examples, okay? Moments, mesmerized. Wonderful. All right. So let's move on now to our third tip, okay? And now I guess probably most, sorry. I always go ahead first. I'm so sorry. This is funny because Chris in his session, he was saying, oh, nobody uses mirrors anymore. And I'm like, I have my mirrors. Okay, so the same articulation of sounds that we were doing, we can obviously have students repeat after us. But it's important for them also to visualize the articulation, their own articulation. So for example, I usually have pocket mirrors like this, okay? If you don't have pocket mirrors, mobile phone. And then what you're going to do is, okay, guys, let's go. Apple, light, sleep, mesmerize, okay? They need to see themselves like their mouth, okay? Their tongue, their teeth working to raise awareness, to show the brain, like, brain, wake up. This is how the sound is articulated, okay? They can also film themselves if they want, okay? So this is what we're going to do now. Do you have a mobile phone? Maybe you are watching the webinar on your mobile, okay? Or a pocket mirror, and you can work with that. And I think somebody asked me if I take these things to my lesson. Yes. Every lesson that I teach, it doesn't matter if it's general English, academic English, business English, IELTS preparation or exams preparation in general, I take with me bubbles and mirrors. They are in my bag, okay? Good. So I'm gonna use my pocket mirror. If you have one, you can take it. If you have your mobile, even your reflection of the mobile, okay? If you're using your mobile to watch the webinar, no worries, you got the point, okay? So here we go, we have apple, apple, light, light, sleep, sleep, museum, museum, okay? So students can visualize. It raises their awareness of articulation of sounds, okay? So I hope that that made sense. And now we are moving on to our third tip, which is using follow-up activities to expand pronunciation work, okay? So most of us probably have come across a pronunciation exercise like the one you see on the slide in the course books that we use, right? So in this case, the context, this is B1 level, intermediate level, okay? And the lesson is not focused on pronunciation. The lesson is focused on grammar, passive voice, okay? And there is always, like Chris was saying in his session, there is always a pronunciation spot, a pronunciation box somewhere in the middle of the grammar lesson to work to integrate pronunciation and grammar, right? Okay, so basically students have to listen and write 5 sentences that use passive voice. Then they are going to listen again, and they are going to underline the stressed words. And then finally, they are going to listen and repeat, okay? And here at the bottom of the slide, sorry, you can see examples of sentences that work with passive voice, and the stressed words are underlined, okay? So basically, this is what we see in most course books. Now let's analyze that. As teachers, let's analyze the type of exercises that we have here. When we ask students to listen and write down the sentences, we are working with listening discrimination, which is a very important skill, because when you think about pronunciation, we have listening and we have speaking, right? So wonderful, very, very good listening practice. Then we have the idea that I was telling you, underlining, making word stress visible, visualizing that, wonderful. And then we have a controlled practice, which is the classic listen and repeat. And again, if you were here in Chris' session, Chris gave us lots of examples of how to make listen and repeat more fun. Okay, this is what we would call a controlled practice. Yeah, fine, no problem, right? But my question is, guys, let's think about that. And then what? Does the pronunciation work end here? Listen and repeat. Okay, well done, everybody. See you tomorrow. That's the point, and I think this is the gap that we have in pronunciation teaching. Because again, and I'm just going to try to explain my point. When I'm grabbing, imagine I'm grabbing some coffee with Melissa, and in our conversation I say, Melissa, this book was written by Angela Davis. Out of nowhere, out of the blue, okay? I just say, this book was written by Angela Davis. Or I say, Melissa, a lot of olive oil is produced in Italy. Well, if I did that, Melissa would ask, Ana, are you okay? Because we don't do that. We don't say words and sentences in isolation, do we? We use sounds, words, and sentences in communication, in a stream of speech. So we need to show students that. So you can do all the pronunciation work in the course book, but then it's our job as teachers to expand that. So one very easy idea is to put the sentences into a context. And then we have this idea of the mini dialogues, okay? So that students can practice. And this is what we call guided practice, okay? Because as you can see, the words are underlined, which mean these are the words that are stressed in communication because they have meaning. Remember, we talked about meaning. And students, you can divide students A and B, and they can practice together. Okay? So let's have a little practice with that. Okay? So Melissa, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Yes. So Melissa is help us practice, okay? So Melissa, for number 1 and number 2, I'm going to be A and you're going to be B, okay? Okay, deep breath. 3, 2, 1. How's this word spelled?
C-O-M-F-O-R-T.
Where where is olive oil usually produced?
A lot of olive oil is produced in Italy.
Okay, now Melissa, for number 3 and number 4 and 5, you are A and I'm going to be B. Okay?
Yeah.
Deep breath again.
You ready?
2, 1, go.
Have you heard about this book?
Yeah, it was written by Angela Davis.
4. When will the suspect be released?
Next week.
5. This product has not been tested on animals.
Thanks for letting us know. Okay, thank you very much, Melissa.
Thank you.
Guys,
Did I do okay?
Yeah, it was wonderful. Claps for Melissa, please.
I've also been doing all your other practice activities with my phone.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Everything.
Thank you so much, Melissa. Thank
No
you.
problem.
So do you see, guys, something easy, something simple, they can do it in pairs, okay? You can ask students to come up with the mini dialogues. So for example, you give them 1 or 2 examples, and then you say, okay, guys, now I'll give you 2, 3 sentences and you come up with the mini dialogues. But you see, we are just expanding to put a context, okay? Now, after that, we can also work on expanding even more. Okay, so after our guided practice, we are going now to work on communicative practice. So this is something that it can be done in groups, okay, or trios groups, or whichever way you decide. And then the idea is, tell students that the suspect of a crime will be released next week. Why? Take a look at number 4. Number 4 is talking about the suspect. So I am connecting, I'm using the same thing. So the suspect of a crime will be released next week. And then the students have to come up together, they have to come up with a story behind the crime. What happened? Okay? And they should include an olive oil, olive oil produced in Italy, a book written by Angela Davis, and a product that has not been tested on animals. So for instance, just for you to understand, okay, they get together in groups and then they obviously brainstorm ideas and they come up with a story. Oh yeah, so there was a crime and a book written by Angela Davis was stolen. And in the crime scene, we could see there was a bottle of olive oil produced in Italy. And there was a product that has not been tested on animals. So because of that, the police is trying to find who committed the crime, and they are going to interview the suspect. So do you see, they come up with a story, with an idea. They can even role play if you have time. They can role play the conversation between the police and the suspect. I mean, the sky's the limit. But do you see that we are getting the idea of pronunciation, and we are expanding this into communication, because this is what matters, This is what we need to help students with. We are helping students become effective communicators of English. Okay? So I hope that made sense. Is everything okay? Is everybody there? Thank you so much. Yes. All right. So now let's move on to our 4th tip today. And now I will need, sorry. Just to conclude, I promise. All these ideas that I'm showing you, okay, listening discrimination, controlled practice, guided practice, communicative practice, they don't come from my crazy mind, okay? there is a communicative framework to teach pronunciation, which is basically the basis for pronunciation work in the classroom. And this framework was developed by Celsi Murcia and other writers in 2010 in the seminal book, Teaching Pronunciation, okay? So please mark down this reference, go look for it, search Celsi Murcia et al. 2010 Communicative Framework. This will blow your mind, and this will show you exactly what we mean in terms of pronunciation practice, okay? Because again, obviously, the practical part is fun, but the practical part should be based on research, on theory, and that's what these authors do. And the book is amazing. It's called Teaching Pronunciation, okay? We also have, as a final tip, online resources, okay? And I think Melissa will add the resources to the chat box. So if you feel a little bit lost, if you're not sure exactly what to do, where to find information. So for example, we have websites where we can see the articulation of sounds, okay? We also have the online phonemic chart. Yes, Chris talked about that. Gemma in her session was talking about the importance of having varieties of English in the classroom. So she gave a lot of suggestions. This is another website that you guys can have a look, Dialects Archive, okay? Gemma also talked about Youglish. So for instance, you can take a phrase or a word or something, Youglish, and then students can listen to different speakers of English pronouncing that, okay? And also you can suggest and recommend students to have a look at the BBC website, Learning English, okay? They can work on pronunciation, all right? So I just wanted to highlight that because sometimes some teachers don't know exactly that these sources exist, or sometimes we have heard about it, but we don't remember anymore. So just a reminder, okay? And I guess we are getting towards the end of our session. So let's summarize everything. Okay, are you ready? So this is what we talked about in this session, in this presentation. Okay, we talked about pronunciation related to meaning, pronunciation being the face of the language, pronunciation being the glue to all the different language systems, right? We discussed that teachers need help. That's why we are here today. Okay. We talked about the importance of being consistent when we work with pronunciation. And for example, when we mark word stress on the board and we, you know, ask students to do that as well in their notes, in their materials. We also talked about not being shy, exaggerate here, the articulation of sounds, okay? If you don't feel very certain, if you feel like, I'm not sure, you can use the websites that I was talking about to show the articulation of sounds. Remember, and I think, and I hope this is the most important tip, expand pronunciation work, okay? Not just listen and repeat, done. Where is the communicative practice in all of that? And we also talked about online resources, right? And we did the most important thing. If we are in a pronunciation session, what did we do? We practiced. Okay. And to conclude, to finish, there's a final reminder, and I think this is amazing. This is a quotation from Marx and Bowen. Wonderful book. It's called The Book of Pronunciation. And I'm going to read it. So if you are on Facebook, if you are watching us on your mobile phone, have a listen, okay? This is the message, the final message. You might never devote an entire lesson to pronunciation, but every lesson is a pronunciation lesson to some extent, because every lesson involves talking, unless it's a writing test, perhaps. And nobody can talk without pronouncing. So this is it. These are my references. And this is my contact. Thank you so much, everybody, for being so active in the chat box. And yeah, thank you, Melissa, for being my assistant.
No problem. Thank you, Anna. We had lots and lots and lots of fun. You know that I like being asked to be a student sometimes because
Yes.
you realize how people feel a bit nervous at first,
Exactly. Yeah.
but then you feel proud when you've done it.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
definitely.
Yes. It's
I
a
had
good
fun.
model of what happens in the classroom, right?
Yeah, definitely. I really hope all teachers at home, I hope you're doing the things with Anna, because I was, and I had a really good time. Yeah, I love that. It was really practical. I remember
Yes.
being a younger, inexperienced teacher, and I saw a presentation about clapping for word stress.
Yeah.
And I did it, but I never felt really comfortable until somebody showed me do this with your arms, and that makes me feel a lot more comfortable. And now I use that one. So yeah, I love that. And I've never done the elastic bands, but I will. I definitely will.
Yeah, and you can use that with articulation of sounds, with intonation, you know, you can have lots of fun.
long vowels as well.
Yes, exactly, because you can do the e, and then you can do intonation up and down. So yeah.
Oh, it's really who knew that you could do so many things with an
Yes.
elastic band? Let's get to some questions, Anna, because we've got a lot. I'm going to take a couple that I think were interesting. One of them is saying, do you think that kind of the traditional advice that we were giving by our teachers long ago, like watch TV, watch news bulletins, that will help your pronunciation, is that advice still relevant?
Yes, it is still relevant because students need exposure to the language. Yes, and especially in contexts where English is a foreign language, the more they have exposure, the better, right? But that alone is not enough. So that is really important, plus pronunciation work in the classroom.
Yeah, definitely. The two go hand in hand.
Yes.
I like the picture that you have of the person exercising, doing sit-ups,
yes,
because it is about that, right?
Yeah, it is.
About
It's a lot of muscle activity if you think about it. Yeah.
things again. But yeah, listening to accents definitely helps.
Yes.
Gemma talked about that, actually.
Yes, exactly. And I love Gemma's idea of bake-off.
Yes.
Yeah, like the cooking shows. Wonderful to practice different accents.
Yeah. Somebody asked in the chat, how about other TV programs for other styles of classes, like business English? Yeah, you just need to think about programs that involve business. Like I think of The Apprentice. That's shown lots of different countries in the world. It's a good one. Yeah. There's another great question that asks, are there any resources students can use to identify stress on their own when they encounter new words? So when they don't have a teacher.
That's wonderful. Okay. So they can use the dictionary. Nowadays, they can use, well, we can think about the classic physical dictionary or online dictionaries. And usually in online dictionaries, we have the phonetic transcription of the word. What we teachers have to teach students is that usually before the stressed syllable, there is an apostrophe. Okay.
Yeah.
And that indicates the stressed syllable. So this is our job. If we don't teach them, they will never know. So if we teach them, look, this little symbol here indicates stressed syllable, then they can do it by themselves.
Yeah, definitely. I before I was an English teacher, I never looked at that part in a dictionary. You don't know it's there. So
and now with the online dictionaries now, Melissa, we can listen to the word, we can listen to the sentence. Before we couldn't, so.
True, definitely. Let's take one more question. Another one. This question is from Facebook. How do you teach adult learners difficult sounds? They get frustrated with controlled practice. You said you use these things with adults, don't you?
They have lots of fun,
Yeah.
and we can use
fun doing your practice, right?
That's good. You see, we had fun. So you can change, instead of doing the boring listen and repeat, like Chris was talking about that. Okay, let's make it louder now, and then let's make it quieter. Let's use the rubber band. So you can use these different things because what you were doing, and you have to explain why you were doing that, because some adults will go like, I don't want to use a hair bubble. But if you show them that you are doing that to show that the stress syllable is longer and how important the stress syllable is, like if you explain kind of the rationale, they'll do it.
Yeah, well, you've explained it perfectly as for today, definitely. Thanks for coming, Anna. We've run out of time.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Lots of fun. I also want to say thanks, of course, to Gemma and to Chris that did the previous webinars. You can watch the recordings of those later. Thanks to Joanna and to Kath, who helped me moderate here in Zoom. And thanks to Karen and Wiam, who are moderating on Facebook, where we also have lots of comments and where you can also see the recordings. So thanks for participation from all the teachers around the world. We are so excited about pronunciation now. It's definitely in our next lesson for sure, right? So have a good afternoon, a good evening, a good morning, wherever you are, and we'll see you for next month's sessions. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.